I'm here to say fun. I'm just feeling so much fun. That's all I'm feeling in life. And your teachings have given me so much perspective on how to actually take it and live it. And that's what I do, and I model it, and I love it. And if we were to continue the conversation about anything, it would be how to be in a place, as many of us have talked about up here already in other conversations, when a bump comes, how to stay in the place of this or something better. And I like all the what used to be referred to as the pre-paving and the really feeling the emotions first thing before we have a bump in our vibration to encounter it.
The best pre-paving is to be in the vibration of receiving. In other words, that's the best pre-paving that there is. In fact, if we were to write a book about pre-paving again, we would talk all about receiving mode. Because when you're in the receiving mode, then you're just tuned in, and then guidance comes along the way. Jerry and Esther got on an airplane a few years ago, and the flight attendant asked them if they would sit next to this young girl who was flying on her own. Her name was Hannah. And as they got to know her, the flight attendant seemed to indicate that Hannah was very insecure. And so Esther was sort of trying to make conversation with her. It turned out Hannah was not the least bit insecure. She was just busy. She had things that she would rather do than talk to old people. And so as the flight went on, she was reading her book and having a good time. And when the plane started to land, it was bumpy. And Hannah said, "Oh, this is going to be so much fun." And Esther is thinking, who are you? Because she was so self-confident. She had clearly flown before. She had no fear about anything. And the bumps were fun for her. There were other people on the airplane that were very tense about the very rough ride they were having. Hannah really hoped with all her might that the plane would shoot right off the end of the runway. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't it be fun if when we landed, the brakes didn't hold us and we got to go right through the fence? Hannah was looking for adventure and new, and her sense of well-being and her sense of security was such that bumps were fun. Not little bumps, not just big bumps, big old scary bumps. But there were adults on the airplane that were wringing their hands, and Hannah's going, "Woohoo, woohoo, this is so much fun." And so the pre-paving that you're talking about really is when you're in that place of well-being, so that things that are ordinarily bumps to other people are fun or interesting to you. Your reaction to the bumps is all about your shock absorbers that you've put there to begin with. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
The bumps can be fun.
Every bump is fun. That's why you came. Not one of you said, "I'll come, but smooth it all out. And when I get there, I just want a nice, smooth, boring, not moving forward life at all." None of you said that.
Smooth sound feels really good to me. So the smooth and the ease feels good. But what I'm hearing is maybe once I feel like I've had enough smooth and ease, then I might want something more.
So let's say you've got a vehicle and you want to go down this canyon, and it's a bumpy road because hardly anybody goes there, but you want to go because it's the most beautiful vista in the world, and because there are unique things that are only in this canyon, and because you've heard about it and you want to be there, but the road is rough, so you go in your vehicle that has really good shock absorbers, and the bumps don't matter because what you are seeing is so much more worth it, you see. So you got to get your eye off the bump, off the pothole, and on what you're wanting to see, and you become resilient, and your inner being guides you around the bumps. When you know what you want and you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, your inner being knows what your path of least resistance is. We want to bluntly say to you that every bump or every piece of resistance on your path you've put there, and you keep it alive by acknowledging its existence. So if you stop calling it bumps and start calling it fun, and you stop calling it bumps and you call it interesting things, and you stop calling it bumps and you call it variety, and you stop calling it bumps and you call it information that helps you put things into your vortex, then you put the bumps in perspective, just like you want to put the differences of opinion in perspective, and you want to put the differences that people are living in perspective. You really don't want to live all by yourself. You really don't. You could live in a very smooth place where everything's the same, everything's put away, and you know where it all is, and there's never any confusion about anything, and nobody ever tips anything over or breaks anything. In other words, you're just in that very small, contained, perfect place. And we promise you, that's not what you came for. You came for bumps. You came for bumps and a remembrance of your ability to enjoy them. Not cope with them. We didn't say cope. Did you hear that? We didn't say cope.
Yes.
We said enjoy them. Enjoy them for the desire that is born out of them, for the clarification that is born out of them. And we believe you when you say you're up for fun. We believe you.
Yes.
We just think that before this conversation, you were up for more conditional fun. And when you decide to be unconditional in your fun, and you see how the universe can pull out the stops because you're in this place, the fun that you will have is indescribable. People looking on will not relate.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
You are.
Thank you.
Really good. Really good. Yes.
This is unreal. Abraham, in August of this year, I had what doctors called an episode of psychosis
Yeah.
that landed me in the hospital for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Before this episode, my mind was clear. I was hearing the voices of my source energy, and I was very aligned with my inner being,
Yeah.
very consistently.
Yes.
How do I get back this clear, powerful self?
Just
that
by
was me?
remembering it and knowing that it will return. By focusing on that part rather than another part that was less pleasant.
Yes.
It's who you naturally are. So it's natural for that to return.
I've been trying to get into alignment every single day by doing your meditations, by trying to go into my vortex.
Yeah.
But I feel it's like I'm up against a certain blockade.
What's
There's
happening
something-
is you are in your sensitivity, you're feeling your own resistance. But that's all right. Your resistance is not your enemy. Don't make it your enemy, because that's what sort of causes a stronger struggle. But instead, compliment yourself on your sensitivity to it that you are feeling. Yeah?
Yes, yes. I'm currently on medication that my physicians have given me for my psychosis.
That's all right. We don't find you unclear. Do you feel unclear?
Sometimes I feel the resistance in me welling up in my head, and it's like I can't think, or I can't get into my receptive
And
mode.
do you associate that with the medication?
Yes, yes.
Here's the thing. Do you believe that the medication is helpful? We do. You don't have to believe the same thing that we do, but do you believe that it is helpful?
Yes, I believe it's helpful.
So remember earlier, we know that you will recall it as we say it. If you are taking the medicine because you believe it is helpful, but you are railing against it in some way, you're causing resistance which doesn't allow you to have what you want. So what we're saying is, take the medicine and line up with it, or don't take it and line up with it, but don't take it and not line up with it, and don't not take it and not line up with it. So we think it's a good thing. We think it's a good thing. We want you to just relax into it. And in time, we are certain that your physicians will say to you, no longer necessary, in time. But in the meantime,
Yes.
appreciate it for the balance that it gives you,
Okay.
and line up with it, yeah?
Okay, yes.
Yeah?
Yes, yes. You've also said that following my impulses is a way of staying aligned with my inner being.
Well, we want to say it better than you just said it.
Okay.
The way we want to say it is, when you are aligned, then follow your impulses. We're not saying follow your impulses to get aligned, because you might have impulses that take you further into not alignment.
Yes,
So what we're
yes.
saying is, get aligned, which means get feeling good, begin having fun, or feeling interested about something, or feeling happy about something, and then follow the impulse.
And then follow the impulse.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I get impulses sometimes to incessantly say hi to people on the street, or if there's a conversation going on somewhere and people are speaking, I want to know exactly what it is they're saying. It's like, I've got to know. I've got to know.
We want you to know something about this. This is not because there is something wrong with you. This is because you are tapping into that broader perspective of eagerness about life. And when you feel eager about life, you're sort of wanting to express your eagerness in some ways, you see. And so the only thing that's a problem is that other people don't do it so much, and they don't understand it when somebody else does. They accept it with little children who are still pure in their connection, or in untrained dogs that are pure in their connection. But they don't accept it in people that are supposed to know better than to be so happy you want to talk to people. Yeah.
I also have some spiritual mentors who have told me that chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is the rhythm of the universe, and that this will bring me benefit. And I want to ask you, Abraham, is that true?
The reason that we can see the benefit to you or to anyone is because when you find a symbol, even a verbal symbol, that has no attachment or previous meaning to it. Let's say that when you were young, your dog got run over right before your eyes, and you saw it happen and it was traumatic. We don't think that a mantra that says puppy doggy, puppy doggy, puppy doggy, puppy doggy, lovely little puppy doggy, would be a good mantra for you. We think that it would remind you of something you want to forget. We don't think a mantra that says God, 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 or wealthy, 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 wealthy. In other words, there are some things that are in your mass consciousness that trigger disconnection more than they trigger connection. And so to pick something that doesn't have any meaning to you, it's almost like meditation. That's why drums are so good. In the beating of a drum, there's not usually a message.
Okay. So chanting it is good for me, and I will continue.
We think it would be good
chanting
for
it.
everyone because it's a focus on something that doesn't activate a resistant vibration. It's why we teach focusing on your breathing, or watching the flicker of a flame while you meditate, or listening to the noise of the air conditioner. Something that doesn't have any attachment, negative attachment, is a good thing for you to focus upon. It's a good way to clear your mind. Yeah.